Hello again and welcome back. In continuation of our previous lesson, today we'll be doing coordinate or dative bond. In our previous classes, we have already learned about covalent bond. In covalent bond, we know that an electron is shared between two atoms in order to be stable. And today we will learn about another type of covalent bond, that is coordinate or dative bond. Coordinate or dative bond. A covalent bond resulting from one atom donating a lone pair of electrons to another atom is called a coordinate, covalent or dative bonds. In coordinate or dative bonds, an atom which is already stable donates electron to another atom which is deficient of electrons. Here we can see that we have an oxygen molecule which is already stable. We know that an oxygen molecule is made of two oxygen atoms. They combine together by sharing electrons, that is covalent bond, and they form oxygen molecule. And now we have another oxygen atom which is not stable. It needs two more electrons. In the first oxygen molecule, we know that there are pairs of electrons which are free. They are known as lone pairs, and they can contribute those lone pairs to the oxygen atom which is in need of a pair of electrons in order to be stable. So when this oxygen molecule and an oxygen atoms combines together, they form an ozone. The atoms which contribute the electron pair is called the donor, while the other which only shares the electron pair is known as acceptor. And we can write ozone as O3 or O2-O, and we need to put an arrow towards the oxygen atom. Here let us see the formation of ozone molecule. First we have an oxygen molecule. We can see that this oxygen molecule, they share two pairs of electrons and another oxygen atom which need two more electrons in order to be stable. So when this oxygen molecule gives the free electrons or the lone pair to the oxygen atom which is in need of two electrons, they combine together and they form an ozone molecule. Now let us see the formation of hydronium ion. Hydronium ion is formed by the combination of water molecule and hydrogen ion. We know that water is formed by an oxygen atom and two hydrogen atoms. They form through covalent bonds. And another we have, on the other side we have hydrogen ion. Hydrogen ion, as we know it doesn't have electrons. It consists of only proton. It is in need of an electron in order to be stable. So the water molecule has the oxygen has a free electrons which it can share with the hydrogen ion. So when this oxygen shares the lone pair of electrons to hydrogen ions, they combine together and they form an hydronium ion or H3O positive. Now let us see the formation of ammonium ion. Ammonium ion is formed by ammonia molecule and hydrogen ion. We know that ammonia molecule is formed by an atom of nitrogen and three atoms of hydrogen. It is formed through a covalent bond. And now let us see the hydrogen ion again. Hydrogen ion is in need of electrons. But on the other side we have the ammonia molecule which is already stable, but it has free electrons or lone pairs. So it donates these free electrons to hydrogen ion and they combine together and form an ammonium ion. And we should know that electrons which are not involved in bond formation are called lone pairs. And here we can see that in ammonia molecule, you can see that nitrogen has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 electrons in its outermost shell, and it shares 3 electrons with hydrogen, and 2 electrons are still free, and these 2 electrons which are free is known as the lone pairs. Let us see the characteristics of covalent substances. First we have physical state. The covalent compounds do not exist as ions, but they exist as molecules. There are weak intermolecular forces between the molecules. We know that covalent compounds, they are formed by sharing of electrons. There is a weak intermolecular forces between the molecules. That is why covalent substances, they exist mostly in as liquid or gases. Let us see some examples of covalent substances. First we have water, which is liquid. Next we have petrol, liquid, kerosene, liquid, and another example, let us say an oxygen molecule which is gas again. Now we have B, low melting point. Since the forces between the molecules are weak, a comparatively small amount of heat is required to overcome these forces. Hence, covalent compounds generally have low melting and boiling points. We know that covalent compounds are held together by a weak force of attraction. That is why covalent compounds have low melting and boiling points, which means that covalent substances like water, they boil easily, and covalent substances like petrol, kerosene also, they catch fire easily. Next we have solubility. In general, they are sparingly soluble in polar solvents like water. Covalent substances are somehow or partly soluble in substances like water, but they are completely soluble in non-polar solvents like benzene, carbon tetrachloride, kerosene, etc. Now let us see D, conductivity. They do not conduct electricity. This is because they are made up of neutral molecules and not ions. We know that covalent substances are made by sharing of electrons. That means there are no free electrons to move around. In electrovalent or ionic substances, there are free electrons which can move around and they can carry charges. But in covalent substances, there are no free electrons. That is why they do not conduct electricity. For your assignment, we have question number 1. What do we call the type of covalent bond resulting from one atom donating a lone pair of electrons to another atom? 2. What do we call atoms which contribute electrons? 3. What do we mean by lone pairs? 4. Write 4 characteristics, properties of covalent substances and explain. That will be all for today, and I hope all of you are doing fine, and I want all of you to do your assignment properly, and until then, stay safe.